better.
Makes you focus, drives you. It shows you an agenda.
That's right.
Awesome! Mama Helen and You with Dr. Helen Jaffor, showing every day at 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. West African time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.
It's your time to receive. Oh yeah, Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here. Oh, touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive.
Now, well, this is Mama Helen and You, all the way from Warri, Nigeria today. I am extremely excited, and I want to take this opportunity in apologizing to all our audience out there. Just a little bit of technical issues. Hope you will understand. Well, today is really going to be awesome. I don't know wherever you're watching from, but we really enjoy that you kindly call someone. Share this right now, because this topic is really hot. It is something that we all need to learn in order to make a change, considering what is happening in the society. According to Theodore Roosevelt, to educate a person in the mind but not in morals is to educate a menace to society. Imparting good moral values in children is said to be the foundation to greatness in life. Most of the values we have as adults were instilled in us during our childhood years. That's why it's essential that we teach our children the values that we want to have as adults. Most of the time, the godchild is mentored and taught the proper values that will improve our self-worth and on how to become a better person, whereas the boy child sometimes is left alone to build values for himself. While the girls are taught to sweep the house, cook, and take care of their future husband and home, the boys just sit down, watch TV to learn about right and wrong. The question now is, why are the boys left alone? So today's topic is, who trains the boy? You would agree with me that this is a wonderful topic to look at, because who trains the boy? The Osinachi story is a very pathetic one. And what we're trying to do today is to see how we can nip it in the bud and possibly prefer solution. You will want to miss this program. Solution is better than focusing on problems. When you focus on how to resolve issues, the better way of getting out of every problem is the key. And that's what we're looking at today on Mama Helen and You. Back in a moment.
Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here. Touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive. Oh yeah, Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here. Oh, touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive.
Now, welcome back. This is still Mama Helen and You, all the way from Warri, Nigeria. I am excited. Yes. Who trains our boys? When should we begin to train them? Because estimates published by WHO indicate that almost one-third, is 27% of women aged 15 to 49 years who have been in a report that they have been subjected to some for physical, mental, or sexual abuse by their intimate partners. The man tends to take up behaviors geared towards maintaining control over them. This can include threats, isolation, intimidation, etc., which sometimes could lead to death. I mean, debt. It is terrible. This underlines that now more than ever that there is an urgent need to look into how our boy child is being trained, nurtured, and cultured. So they could have the right disposition as adults. It is important. Women should be loved and treated with respect. Yes. So, on Mama Helen and You, I'm going to be introducing wonderful guests that will be helping me to do justice to today's topic. And the very first person I'm going to be introducing is Morenike Tare. Morenike Tare is the woman editor of Vanguard newspapers. It's such a pleasure having you on Mama Helen and You today, Morenike.
Thanks so much, Mama Helen. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. And then, of course, we have Mrs. Margaret Titilayo Adesoji. She is a proprietor of Day Spring Schools. It's a pleasure having you as well.
Thank you, Ma. Good afternoon, Ma.
Good afternoon to you. And thanks for your patience as well. Now, the very first question to us today, because I mean, we want to find solution to the saga of Osinachi's episode. I know it's something that has been trending all over the world, and willingness for us to do something about it is what has informed today's Mama Helen and You. So the very first question I'm going to be asking you ladies is that, is there a difference in nurturing a girl and a boy child? Let's start with Ms. Morenike.
Well, that's a very tough question because apart from the biological features that the baby comes with, it's very difficult to tell the difference between a boy child and a girl child when they're born. They are both born blank. Their minds are blank. But while they have different sexes,
Features.
society expects them to have different gender roles. They are raised in expectation of these different gender roles.
So true.
What's a woman's gender role or a girl? She's expected to look after the family. She's expected to help her mother in the kitchen. She's expected to look nice.
That's
a boy
right.
can afford to look rough. He can go and
To
play
play
ball.
around. I know.
So it's about the way they are raised. No, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all.
Yes.
Because there's such a thing as division of labor, and things get done. Our economics teachers tell us that it's best when boys divide. It's more efficient. So there is no difference between a boy and a girl when they're born, but they are raised differently, and there's nothing wrong with that.
They are raised differently. What a great point right there. I'm sure Mrs. Margaret Titilayo can't wait to jump into that. What are your thoughts?
Okay, thank you very much. I happen to be a mother of boys. So I couldn't even...
I love that. But I have two boys and a girl.
A girl at all. But
Oh, boys.
No,
How is the home like? Oh, wow.
You know what it's like when they're ready to turn everything upside down when they're growing up. They're young adults, young men now. So, in reality, we should know that these children can be trained the same way. However, there are certain things that we need to consider as we are raising them. Because even their brains are not wired the same way. You have boys' brain be compartmentalized, whereas girls' brain, they are wired together. So there are a few things that a boy may be prone to doing that a girl may not be ready to do. However, as touching personality development, I believe that every child should be taught so many things in the house, whether they are boys or they are girls. So it depends
Okay.
on where they are coming from now, because a girl should know how to respect, a boy should also know how to respect. So there are a few things that they learn together, even as they are growing together. However, boys may be a little bit different because they are more difficult, I suppose, because I've had some girls stay with me.
Awesome. So, what are the challenges faced by a boy child then? I mean, like Veronica had earlier said, a lot of attention seems to be placed on the girl child, okay, because of her societal values and all. And the need for a girl child to be prepared towards marriage or perhaps learning the skills on taking care of ourselves at the early stage. But, we have to be honest with ourselves. Most times, our boys are not totally tutored in many ways. They are left alone, to just to grow up on their own because to them, well, they're not going to get pregnant.
Yeah, that's
they're
it.
not, they're not going to get pregnant so they can play around,
They can be on their own. They
but
can
for
do anything they
girls,
want.
yes, they can do whatever they want to do and so on. And this has really turned a lot of them totally out there, without any control at all. So what are the challenges faced by a boy child, if I may ask? And this will go
One of such,
to Miss Margaret.
okay, one of such is the challenge of a lack of father figure in the family. There's so many
Okay.
men these days are very busy. They go out there to look for money, and I want to even ask, who are they working for? What's the money meant for? It's not to bring up these children, and at the end of the day, they are never found. A good number of them are never found, to help with the upbringing of the children. And if the mother in the house is not a strong woman, you can be sure, you can guess what will happen with those boys. So we always want father to be around. If the father is not available, that can be a challenge that a boy child faces. That's one of the challenges because of the absentee fathers in the house. The father is supposed to be a stronger person who will be able to say, "Come on, sit down there." Daddy is talking. But
A good
the
role
one is
model.
it's most likely they are closer to their moms, and if the mom, like I said, is not strong-hearted, it might be a challenge for such a child, a boy.
That's a good one. What would Miss Tyree have to say concerning that?
Yes, I'd just like to point out a study during the COVID-19 lockdown that looked at
Okay.
the way boys and girls learn. The kids were home, they were locked down, they were learning online and all of that. And they found that it was quite easy, to have the girls learn online, after the initial really squabbles, little problems, the girls settled down and were learning. But you couldn't keep the boys' attention for more than 10 minutes. They needed to go out, they needed to go and play. So it
Yeah.
turned out that, some schools that were more creative were now looking for other ways to engage boys, especially in primary schools, to use games and so on to teach them rather than expecting them to sit at home all the time. So
Yes.
the challenges that boys face are, of course, to do with the way they're raised. They, like you say, Mama Helen, it's not much is expected of them. So when
Not
you
much
then
is
come and
expected
say,
of them.
hey, you have to be responsible, you have to sit down in one place, it's strange, becomes strange to them. I find that a very
Awesome, awesome. So, okay, now let's move on to this because I mean this is very important. We've all highlighted on some of the challenges a boy child might face, as it were. But if I may ask, what are the values to be learned as childhood? What are the values to be learned?
Yeah. If I may come in, they need to learn respect. Look at the case we have at hand now. If that man respected the woman, what happened will not have happened. So, and it is discovered that a child, a child's personality is developed between ages 0 to 8. And if at this age nobody is there to impute into them what is needed, you discover that that boy grows up to be a monster. Therefore, one of the things that we need to impute into our boy child is respect. They must learn to respect themselves first and foremost. If you respect yourself, you
Okay.
will not live in disobedience. Yeah. And if you respect your siblings, for instance, maybe you are number two in the family, and you always want to assert yourself, you want everybody to know that you are somebody and all those stuff, and nobody says, no, you can't do that. You must respect your elder brother. You discover that that child grows up to be what they shouldn't be. One of the things we need to
That's
infuse
right.
into these children is respect before it is too late. If you respect your wife, for instance, you will allow her to talk. You want to hear her out. You want to ensure that his feelings are respected. But where you can shout your wife down, you can bully your wife, you have not learned what respect is at all.
That's a good one. So we've heard from you respect. What would be your own side to these as well, Ms. Veronica?
Um, the most important values, yes, respect, a very big good one. Um, they should also be taught responsibility, and part of that responsibility is to be kind to people. That there's nothing wrong with the boy being kind
Treat others the way you
and
wish to be treated.
be
Yeah.
treated.
Go ahead.
Be empathetic. You take your time, look out for other people's needs, and try to meet them, even if you can't meet them. Try. You just know that the next person, whether it's a boy or a girl, is your responsibility. A little
That's right.
challenge we have in society is about this insularity. People, the young boys look around them and they see people who don't care about the next person, and then they emulate them and begin to treat people around them like that. So we really need to deal with that.
Okay.
In addition
Okay.
to this,
So, yeah.
a,
Okay.
a,
Please go
a
ahead.
thing
Yes.
needs to be called self-control. You may agree with me
Self
that
control.
you want to agree with me that so many boys can be so irrational. They can be so rash. And if this is not curtailed when they were still growing up, you discover that they will grow up to be monsters. Therefore, there's need for us as parents who have boys under, even girls, they need to know what self-control means. You need to learn how to put others first. You need to learn how to respect another person's opinion. It's not just about you. There are others that it's just about me. Come on, if it is not me, it's not any other person again. Therefore, we must learn. We must teach these ones how to control themselves, control their emotions, control, whatever they want to do in life so that they will not become a nuisance to the society. Also, there's need for the boy child to learn diligence, diligence in every area of life, in their schoolwork, because we discovered that so many, but these days now, as a school owner by God's grace, I discovered that so many of the boys, they don't really value education again as such. That's why you have so many fraudsters in town today, Yahoo Yahoo boys, we call them in worry. And
So
these
true.
ones
So
are just,
true.
they
You're
want
quite right.
quick money, they want quick money, but they are not ready to show
They're
diligence.
not ready.
You you need money, but there must be value before you get the money. Therefore, we must teach
There
our
must be.
children diligence. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So many things can be said about that, to be honest. I mean, apart from respect and all. You know, someone once wrote a beautiful article, and the person was saying, instead of teaching a child to be respectful, you need to teach them honor. And also recently, when the Olu, the newly Olu of Wari King, the newly coronated, I was going to use, Olu of Wari recently. He was so, I mean, you can see a man of honor. You can see a man that must have been taught honor. Because even when he was making reference to the father-in-law, and then later to the mother, and then to the wife, you can see a man that a mother must have taught the values of honor. So I wanted to actually, I want us to look at that very critically, because you know sometimes people just say, okay, well, you need to own, you need to respect this and that and that, but what is honor to you? And in what
That's a
way,
very loaded
if I may
question.
ask? Okay, go ahead. You got it.
That's a very
Go
loaded
ahead.
question. I like that word honor because it kind of encapsulates all the other values. So all these other
Yes.
values have been imparted to you, and then you, as an individual, feel that you ought to. I don't want to use that word honor again, but I may be forced to. You need to honor those values that have been imparted. You need to show and behave as if you understand the importance of those values and that you appreciate the fact that those values have been deposited into. For me, that's where honor comes in.
Comes in. Okay.
Beyond that,
All right. Yes.
Uh, I mean, if I may want to add, is about is
Okay.
still respect. I respect.
Yeah.
Showing I respect for others.
Regard.
Being thoughtful of others. Honoring. Saying that, you come before me. I want to, respect you and allow you rather than me showing forth myself. So if we honor others, we will respect them. We will know that they carry something that we can learn from, and that we don't have
That's
we
a good
don't have
one.
everything,
We don't
and
have
that we
everything.
can still
Awesome.
learn
Awesome.
from these people. Therefore,
That's
honor is
right.
very necessary. We honor God
Honor is
first. We
necessary.
honor those who are above us. We honor authorities over us. Yeah,
That's right.
we listen to them, and we allow them.
That's right.
We join forces together to ensure that the purpose of a place is accomplished.
Exactly. Awesome. So now let's ask this question. What best parenting style should be suitable in bringing up our children?
Sorry, could you come
You can
again?
jump in. What best parenting
so can
style should be deployed in bringing up our children? You know,
There
because
are
you know when you're
different.
dealing with the boys, yeah, good.
Yeah, there are different ways these children can be brought up, different styles that you can, use as a parent. There are people who are nonchalant about their children, they don't care. Maybe because they themselves were not properly brought up. Maybe because there were no standards set for them when they were growing up. Maybe because they didn't have any
That's right.
value. Sometimes I check ladies in church with children, and now the children behave, and it's like my heart jumps. That what is this? What is this? Before they got married, was there any? Did they have any value in view at all? Was there any standard? They didn't set any standard for children. The children can do anything they want to do. Therefore, as a parent, we need to know what we actually want, and then we'll be able to know what to do. Because there are so many styles, about four of them, that I think we can use authoritative approach. of child upbringing.
Okay.
In the case where a child and the mother or the parents they agree, especially when they are of age, not when they are small. Because when a child is just a year to 4 5 years, there is nothing you want to sit down with that child and say, okay, let's put our heads together, let us do this. No, you should know what you want for such a child. You should know that this child should be respectful. You should know that this child should not be insubordinate. You should know that this child should, be diligent, should be able to do little chores at home. But after
That's
this
right.
time out, then there is need for us to also like relax a little bit and soft pedal, if I can use that word, so that we can sit together, put our heads together to see how they move forward in life. Okay, these are the things that should be done. What do you think about this? That should be when they have got to a certain age in life. Not when a child is 1 year or 2 year old, or say this child does not have sense now. So because of that, we're not going to put some things in place. No, there are things we have to put in place for our children as they are growing up. Because as soon as these children are properly brought up, you won't have problem when they become teenagers or young adults. If they even stray away, they will still come back because the foundation has properly been laid. So we can have authoritative where parents, know what the standards should be, and they put these standards into their children, standard of respect, of self-control, of diligence and all those. And after which we can now allow them, to come up with certain things in life because they have been taught how to live.
They've been taught how to live. What about you? What do you have to say concerning that, Marital?
Well, I think children need to be taught consequences. It's very important. They need to understand that every single decision that they make has a consequence. So, for
Yeah,
instance, if they want to stay up at night and play games on their phone, mommy and daddy will not know.
All the
But in the
yes,
morning,
all
they'll
the
be
way.
tired. So they need
So
to
true.
understand consequences. The second thing my mother used to say that children behave as if they don't like borders, but they do. You have to create borders. There has to be a line that cannot. They like they have
Boundaries.
to
That's right.
some boundaries. They have to do certain things at certain times. And you have to get
that's
used
right.
to that. And it has become very difficult these days because of social media. You don't know what
Yes.
the children are consuming. You can only guess. If
So
you
true. So true. So true.
why it's so important to deposit virtues and values in them from home. If they're brought to the knowledge of God at an early age, all the better. Because then it won't be about fearing mom and dad, it will be about fearing God.
Awesome. And I love the way you just put it together because yes, I mean, a child should recognize the place of God, even at a tender age. But there is an aspect to this that I want us to really look at, and it's so important, and it is called appreciation. Okay, when we is it very important on the need to teach our children how to appreciate others by teaching them how to appreciate dad and mom, even when they're
Yeah,
served food at home. The need for them to say, thank you, mom, thank you, dad, for the meal. Because at some homes that might not even have such a privilege, as it were. Yes. So what are your thoughts concerning this? Teaching appreciation. Because a child who knows how to appreciate, okay, the dad and mom would invariably be a good wife or a good husband. What do you have to say concerning this?
you are right, ma. You are very correct. If these children learn how to appreciate themselves, their siblings, people around them, it won't be a challenge
Yes.
to appreciate their spouses. Therefore, as parents, like in my culture, A Yoruba person has so many ways of greeting. When you're sitting, when you're
So
standing,
true.
when you're eating, when you're doing anything. But do you know, funny enough, we don't have a greeting for say, mommy, thank you for the food. Because I think that maybe because we feel that it's a right for parents, to provide food for their children. So I grew up, in the village, not saying thank you to my mother after eating. But after mixing up with people, we realize that, oh, this is something that we have missed out on. It is our right to provide food for our children, fine. However, even the effort to cook the food, the effort to get the money to get the food must be appreciated. And if this happens and they get married to another tribe, for instance, it might be the beginning of a problem. Because having eaten a wise food, there's no thank you. Even the man has given you money. If you're right now, you should give me money. You don't say thank you. And that can be, the beginning of a problem. Therefore, we must learn.
Yes.
And we ourselves, with our lifestyle, we should learn how to appreciate the children. If, as a mother, as a father, the child brings water and all
So
those, and we
true.
say thank you, she's learning.
Thank you.
If, yeah,
That's true.
if anything
That's
happens,
a very good
maybe
one.
it's not school fees, yeah, school fees. After that, you must demand that they tell you thank you. Whatever is done in the family must be appreciated. By this, we are teaching them.
Whatever is
Yeah.
done in the family must be appreciated. Incredible. How should a woman be treated? On Mama Helen and you, will be right back. And then, of course, the Osinachi episode is also going to be looked at. You don't want to miss this at all because it's actually really getting better. We need solution. And instead of concentrating on the problems or whatever it is that is going on out there, enough of us, having to mourn for our girl child. It's enough for us to see women battered, all because, the necessary things that ought to have taken place right at home might have been neglected one way or the other. So, oh, Mama, Eli and you don't want to touch the dial. Back in a moment.
Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here, touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive. Oh yeah, Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here, touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive.
Two amazing books from Dr. Helen Jaffor are available for purchase. Joyfully Together and You Too Can Become a Success. Get them on our website at www.mamahelen.com.ng or on Amazon, or you can place a simple call to +234 815 343 1944. Don't miss the opportunity. Get them today.
Today it's going to be all about the Word of God.
Welcome to another episode of Soul Connect.
That you will set the captives free because the anointing is on you and you'll be a Holy Ghost troublemaker.
Because when you hear something and you say something and you'll do something, you'll receive something.
God can transition you to a place of influence and impact by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Join us on Soul Connect on the African Broadcasting Network, showing live every Thursday at 6 p.m. West African time.
Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here, touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive. Oh yeah, Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen
viewers, this is still Mama Helen and you all the way from Warri, Nigeria today. And of course, the topic of today that we've been looking at, it's something that I'm sure we are all interested in. Why? Because we're tired of seeing women battered. We're tired of seeing women tortured. We're tired of women suffering emotionally, mentally, and physically as well. And we also know that just as our girl child, or as it were, are trained on the need for them to be a good material in marriage, it is also important for us to train our boy child as well. And that's the reason for this program, especially when you look at the recent happening in Nigeria. Now, to our wonderful guests, they have been incredibly wonderful. And so it will lead me to ask this question now. How should a woman be treated? How should a woman be treated? Because you see, I mean, like we already know, uh, a boy child, he's only set out loose you know, out there, you know, go and play football, go and play with your friends. You're not going to be a danger to this, and you're not going to bring back a bad name. So you're free to be anything you you desire to. And then he grows up. He never, maybe probably didn't have a good model in the father. He might have seen the father beating the mom or treating the mom badly, and that might have informed his behavior as well. So by the time he grows up and gets married, he's married, but he doesn't know how to treat a woman. So how can we help a boy child, you know, become a good husband, as it were, in treating the woman in his life right?
So Helen, we really need to go back again to that concept
Yes.
of appreciation. Of if you appreciate somebody, you appreciate somebody, or you appreciate that this person has left their parents and come to your house. They've left an entire life and come to your house. This lady had parents invested in her. They invested their money, they invested their time, probably gave her education, you know, brought her to the level where you saw her and you said, oh, I would like to marry this lady. You ought to appreciate that. And you ought to appreciate it all the time. So a lot of men,
Yes.
they appreciate the women in their lives. Then after a year or two, or maybe she has a baby and she's tired, or maybe she doesn't treat them so nicely anymore because she's busy. You know, maybe she has a couple of children now. She's running all over the place. She's not making 3 course meals anymore because she has to take care of the children. You see that it changes the way the man perceives them now begins to change. And that's because they were not taught unconditional. Love should be unconditional. In fact, if it's not unconditional,
Love
then
should
it's
be unconditional. That would be agape love right there, isn't it?
That's right.
Please go ahead.
so the way you treat someone shouldn't be about
Yes.
how they treat you. It should be, it's not about them, it's about you. You want to love them. And love is an active word. It's not something, oh, in
Awesome.
my mind, well, I love her, but if she misbehaves, I will deal with her. No. You need to treat her like what she is, a person of value, a person, a human being like you that has feelings, has aspirations in life. You know, she gets tired, she gets She has dreams and she would like to pursue. She
She
has to be
has
treated like that.
dreams.
She has to be acknowledged all the time. Because when
She
a
has to
woman
be.
knows that
What she's
you acknowledge her, she will then fall in line naturally. You don't
so
need
true.
to force her.
No. You're correct. Let me quickly throw this in. You're very right. I remembered when I married my husband newly. You know, one of the things that used to be my tonic to do anything and everything is him appreciating me for the efforts, putting into whatever it is, that I was doing. And believe you me, even though I was not paid to do some of the things that I was doing, the fact that I was appreciated, really, really gave me it became a booster for me. So appreciation has a key role in helping a boy child, or should I say, uh, the best way of treating a woman as a case, because it brings out the best in a woman, doesn't it,
Yeah.
Mrs. Margaret?
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, we're talking about the man now and the woman together, right?
Adesoji.
Yes,
No.
ma'am.
I was actually referring to. It's still the same question. How do we treat? How should a woman be treated?
Okay, we should know that, like Mrs. Moranike said, there's need for appreciation. There's need for selflessness as well. If you are selfless like Jesus, you will know that this person is still human and should be appreciated and should also be helped when the need arises. Somebody said that God didn't make the woman from the bone from the head so that she will not assume, headship and all those. Neither was she made from
Yeah,
the feet, but she was made from the ribs so that she can be cared
from the
for.
reefs.
She can be protected.
Hmm.
She can be
She can be
protected like the
protected.
eagle to protect the little ones. They were supposed to be loved and cherished. Women should be cherished
Love and
because we were
cherished. I
even
love that.
cherished because we were even the last of all
Yeah,
creation. And
yeah.
God took time to create us. So the Oscars are expected, to know that this is a special species and should be given such honor. It should be treated as such. When we don't have time for this woman, the woman can go into depression because to a woman, love is
Love is
TIME,
important to
time,
a woman.
time.
So true.
I learned of a very rich man that will come and give millions. The woman said, take your stupid money, I don't need it. I need you. It's not your money, I need you.
I
I didn't
need you
marry your
instead
money.
of your money.
Yeah. So there's need
Awesome.
for a husband to
Awesome.
know that with all the gettings that we are getting, your wife is not a property. Your wife is human.
Your wife is not
And
a
as such,
property. I love that.
yeah, your wife is human. And she should be
She's
treated.
human.
You should know that she's an emotional being. And when the emotion is not okay, nothing will be good in our life again. But we must jealously guide their emotions. But these are the things that some men don't even care about. You see your wife, squeezing and frowning or looking tired or something. And you still go about your normal activity as if nothing is happening. That is not good for a woman at all. Show
At
that
all.
you care because we are actually created to be
Show
cared
that
for.
you care.
Yeah. We are
All
created
right.
to be
Well,
cared for.
we can go on. We can go on, but at least when the word love is mentioned, it encompasses many things, and then of course
Amen.
the way we talk to the way we talk to her, it's not about talking; it's about speaking with. You talk down
Yeah.
on you're not even supposed to talk down your children, but nevertheless you talk too. But when you're dealing with your spouse, you talk with, in order to ensure that that woman has some level of, she feels respected as well. Because most times people believe, oh, submit. Women are supposed to submit. Yes, it's very important. But God also says that a woman should be honored as well. Now, let's look at this Osinachi's story. I mean, what do you feel as a woman? How do you feel as a mother, as a sister? Because every woman out there must be pained by the way this woman was handled while she was here on earth. And you know, the very first thing that comes to mind is when we're still at home and being tutored, the tendency is there for us to, how am I going to put it? Okay, let me put it this way. So a woman is taught, at least from my own background, a woman is taught, you know, to shield your husband, to protect your husband. And so when a lot of things are going on behind the doors, she doesn't feel very free to talk about it because she still has that responsibility on the need for her to continue to be protective of her husband's image and what have you. Now, where is the, you know, where does it stop, as it were? Where does it stop? We know that it's extremely important for a woman to still protect her husband because, I mean, a husband is our crown, you know, as we're taught, isn't it? But then,
Yes.
where did it stop? Considering Osinachi's story, where does this stop?
You discover that foundation matters. Foundation. When they
Foundation
were cutting,
matters.
yeah, when they were cutting, what went on? So many of our ladies
Some
are
red
so
flags.
desperate. So many of our ladies that they're desperate to be married. And somebody said it's even
Okay.
better to remain married than to marry an abusive person. So when they were cutting, what transpired, we didn't know always. Because if a man could assault you or insult you as a fiancé, you should expect the worst when you're
Yes,
married. So
you
we
should
didn't know
expect
the
the worst.
foundation, the background, you know, when they were cutting. And unfortunately, these are the days, even in the church, that when two people are cutting, a man and woman, the only thing they want to think about is sex. And someone once said, when it is all sex, you lose your sense. When you're just thinking about
My
sex alone,
God.
then your sense will not be at work. Because
Ish,
you're supposed to be able to know in between the lines that this man is a good man, this man is a child of God, this man will be able to take proper care of me, or this man will assault and abuse me. But because these days, children, people start with sex and they can't even see in between the lines, they can't read what the person is going to do to them in the long run. So I want to tell our single ladies that, single ladies especially, you must learn to
That's right.
button up. You must button up. If you button
Button
up,
up.
when this,
Zip up.
yeah, when this relationship begins to get abusive, you will know that you have to work out on the man. But because you have allowed the man, you know, to use you as a woman, as anything, you discover that when it begins to get abusive, you may find it difficult to work out. So about
When
protecting
it
your
becomes
husband,
abusive.
yeah. Well, about protecting, like I was saying, if in courtship, there are so many things we need to talk about. You should know your husband to be his mentor. You should know your wives to be mentor or mentors. So
So
that
true.
if there are issues tomorrow, you know who to run to. Who does he listen to? Does he listen to anybody at
Who
all?
does he
And
listen
does
to?
yeah. And you've been with this man for a couple of maybe weeks or months, and you know that he's always a
Yes.
man of his own. He doesn't care for it. He doesn't care about anybody. Even say, pastor, my pastor, they leave that story alone. You can't tell me anything. I don't care about if you tell pastor or not. So we should know who our husbands can respect and listen to. If this
And
happens
listen to.
and you are seeing a different thing, you will know who to run to. And unfortunately,
So
they will
true.
so threaten, Threaten. If you say anything, you're gone, I will divorce you. Is it not better to be divorced than to be killed?
To be
So we should
killed.
know. Yeah. No. Okay, there should be somebody this man respects. If that is absent, there's a challenge.
Okay, but in this case, if I may interject with, I mean, from what we've read and we've watched about her situation, our family members, some of them, one way or the other, got to know about what was going on, but she was always begging them never to take any decision. You know, I mean, she kept hoping that the man would change, and so on. I mean, those were the things we read about her situation, isn't it? So, I mean, the question here now is, okay, what could she have done differently?
Is Madam Renike coming in?
No, you go ahead, please. We've lost
Okay.
her, but I'm sure she's going to come back.
It's okay. Now, it is very wrong for you to say, oh, I want to protect the image of my husband at the expense of your life. It is foolishness as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry for that word, but I think it's been foolish. I mean, she was supposed to tell her pastor at least, or the pastor's wife. And you don't also allow a man to get to the point of beating you. Can't you run? You can leave the place. You can run out of the place. There must be a situation where somebody gets to know about what is happening in your family. Even though you love your husband, you love your marriage, you want to protect it. Fine, it is beautiful. But you should be able to tell when it is getting out of hand, the man will keep beating you as if you are in a ring box for boxing and all those. You should know that your life matters a lot because you are not an accident of nature. God has a purpose for your life. Every one of us, we are here to fulfill purpose. And without being alive, you can't fulfill purpose. So I felt that she should have opened up to her own pastor or the pastor's wife, and they would have been able to do something about it, to my mind.
She should have opened up to the pastor. Okay, fine. In Africa, we believe that divorce, is unacceptable. Could that be one of the reasons why she decided to hold on to her husband?
Yeah, I believe that even God says I hate divorce. And as much as possible, we must ensure that we keep our relationship. But when it has got to do with your life, God didn't say remember. No. Because I feel that she could have well separated from her husband maybe for a while. And people will ask questions. What is happening? What happened? Why are you not with him? A lady told me this one of the days that when the husband started abusing her, she was supposed to be on the altar with her. She refused to be on the altar. And people started asking questions. She didn't really bother because she needed to voice out what was happening in her family. So eventually, their senior pastor came in, they got to know what was happening, and they were able to come in at least to, bring a little
To resolve
solution.
things.
And things are a lot better now.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, now let me ask you. There might be some Osinachis out there, even as we speak right now. Because sometimes, for women, oh, because of my children. Oh, and then you also have the aspect of, oh, I haven't money. Oh, the societal stigma. And, the lists are endless. And as a result of that, yes, they stay in an abusive relationship. What would you say to such a woman watching right now?
For a woman must be skillful. If you check your Bible very well, Proverbs 31 woman, you should not be an idle person. Your husband may insist. I was talking to a young lady in recent time,
She
and she
should not
said
be
the husband
hiding,
said
definitely.
she must be a housewife. She wasn't going to work and all those stuff. And she said she's not that kind of person. I can't sit at home doing nothing. If you sit at home doing nothing,
right.
you discover the man will abuse you and mess you up because he knows that you can't go out of the family because it depends solely on him 100%. So if you don't have anything you're doing, you're not helping yourself at all. And the woman, the man can also be abusive because he knows everything depends on him. So
On
I feel
him.
that every woman should have something doing. So that if the worst comes to the worst, you have to separate from your husband for a while, you will have food to eat. You'll be able to take care of your husband, your children. And apart from
His
that,
children.
the issue of, oh, I don't want people to know, let them know. They must know because it's normal. It's normal for human beings, to misbehave. And for somebody to say no, reprimand the person that what you did was wrong. There's no big deal about
That's
it.
right.
Because you need to even
That's
save
right.
your husband yourself. And so keeping secret like this, you discover that you are not helping the man. Even the man himself, you're not
That's
helping
right.
him. And you're not helping yourself,
You're
you're
not
not
helping
helping
him.
your children. And if you die eventually, like this woman died now, if the man is freed, he will marry another person. So why should you kill yourself? So if you're in an abusive relationship, they've talked and nothing is happening, nothing is changing, you may have to separate yourself first and maybe pray and think about what to do next. Don't remain there and be
Yeah.
killed.
Don't remain there and be killed. So much, to say about this situation, and this is actually reaching out to the family of Osinachi, and to encourage them about this great loss. And in doing so, we will also, in honor of her, have you listened to this wonderful voice that this generation and generations to come have lost. You don't want to go anywhere. Because after she's done singing and we're back, we're actually going to be looking at all that, there are some things we need to be looking at actually. I was going to just say that, physical abuse it's not just it alone, because sometimes we tend to focus on that alone. But what about the emotional and the mental abuse? Listen to the lady of song in our memory. Back in a moment.
Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here, touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive. Oh yeah, Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here, touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive.
I am really excited today. You know what? Because Mama Helen you. I'm telling you.
We love people hugging us. So this helps the body to feel safe.
We are all leaders in our own right.
Who says you can't even find someone who will love you better?
Makes you focus, drives you. It shows you an agenda.
That's right.
Mama Helen and You with Dr. Helen Jaffor, showing every day at 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. West African time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.
Today is going to be all about the Word of God.
Welcome to another episode of Soul Connect.
That you will set the captives free because the anointing is on you and you'll be a Holy Ghost troublemaker.
Because when you hear something and you say something and you'll do something, you'll receive something.
God can transition you to a place of influence and impact by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Join us on Soul Connect on the African Broadcasting Network, showing live every Thursday at 6 p.m. West African time.
With the brand, the Belgian imports into Man City have signed a new contract extension with the club, making prediction Chelsea and United. As Arsenal this weekend And Liverpool.
Zinedine Zidane knows that this is not the best time to talk about Salah. Liverpool have a very important game to play against Real Madrid.
Let him go to Barcelona.
I repeat, Mourinho will never accept.
Now you have so many attacking players in that team.
ABN Sports, showing live Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. West African time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN. Always have the church with you 247 with the WLBC app. Get all the information you need about Papa Ayu and Mama Helen Jafo. Get the daily Eagles devotional, audio messages of Papa and Mama, live streaming of services, view and post testimonies, get weekly newsletters. Enjoy a yearly Bible tour, the latest news and updates. Give online and lots more. The WLBC app is available on the Google Play Store for free. Two amazing books from Dr. Helen Jafo are available for purchase. Joyfully Together and You Too Can Become a Success. Get them on our website at www.mamahelen.com.ng or on Amazon, or you can place a simple call to +234 815 343 1944. Don't miss the opportunity. Get them today.
Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here, touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive. Oh yeah, Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here, touching lives,
Now, welcome back, viewers. This is still Mama Helen and you, all the way from Warri, Nigeria today. Oh my God. What would you refer to that? A great voice, a great woman, died as a result of abuse. The question here to everyone out there is that what could we have done differently? That is the next question, and I'm going to be asking, one of our guests even now. What could we have done? What could we have done? What could we have done? What could we have done considering what we have just watched right now? What could we have done? Because, what would make a man to be this mean? From what we gathered, sometimes she's tied, and then the children are made to beat her as well, or cane her, as the case may be. Wouldn't you want to say that, this man must be having a complex issue in here? She's the one that is known out there. She's the one, that goes to sing. I don't know. I wouldn't know the kind of job. No one has been able to address that aspect of his life. But the bottom line here is, something drove this man to this. What would that be?
Yeah. Maybe the man himself was a product, or is a product of abuse. Maybe I seen the father beat the mother several times. There was once I was to discipline some children for coming late to school, but I needed to ask questions what made them come late. They said our parents were fighting, so I didn't know what to do again. I just left them. So if you, Daniel in his book How to Teach said that children close their ears to precepts. They open their eyes, they close their ears to precept and open their eyes to example. Children close their ears to precept, they open their eyes to example. So maybe this man has seen his father battered the mother several times and felt that should be the normal way of life. And there was once a man said in our church, an elder, that I have a cane for my wife. Have a cane for my wife.
Are you serious?
Not until they, oh yes. Whenever the woman misbehaves,
oh my God,
he goes and
he brings out the cane.
Cane to beat the woman mercilessly. But I think that some of these men too, they are products of abuse. However, you are in church now
product of abuse.
as pastors, as women leaders and all this. There's need for us to look into the family life very, very critically. So many people are there. Look at that woman. Look at great anointing. See people weeping and wailing. Worshiping God.
Incredible.
Incredible. Talent wasted.
Wasted.
These are people in our church. They are people in our churches. They are there. They are crying. They are lamenting because they are in trouble with their spouses, especially the women folk. So I think that the church needs to rise up to this occasion. Can you still hear me, ma?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, the church should rise up to this occasion. It won't be too much for us to have couples day out, couples something, couples togetherness or whatever once a month. If you can't do that because of activities, why not once in 3 months? At least something we register. It was in church service, one of the days, I think Pastor was talking about marriage, that talked about if you still beat your wife, you're an animal. That was his deliverance. He has this and he threw the pains away. So there's need for pastors to know that there are issues in our homes. We couldn't pretend about it. Even pastors and their wives and all, they have issues. And there's need for us to bring in marriage counselors, marriage trainers, marriage teachers, to talk to our families in the church is important.
In the church. It is important. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. what about the aspect of, because you see, if we don't address this, the tendency for it, to continue to happen is there. And I'm talking about insecurity, because you can't tell me that, yes, we know that he had a bad influence, perhaps maybe by an uncle or father or someone around who might have influenced him wrongly to thinking that the best way to marriage is by lashing out and beating on his wife. But what about the person himself? Hey, I mean, this guy was very controlling. Any little penny must go, he has to be the one to collect every penny that comes in, even though she does all the work. I mean, he was not ready to share with her. And at the same time, there are some programs cancelled, not because of anything else, but due to jealousy and all that. So what do we do, to nip this on the bud? Because this is innate. And when some things are innate, it's very difficult to overcome. There's this adage, and I'm sure you're very familiar with it because you're Yoruba as well, I would assume. It is said that, okay, let's leave the adage alone because somebody may not be able to understand it. But in the nutshell, I guess what I'm trying to say here is that jealousy has no cure. Yoruba will say, "Ilaro ologun." In other words, jealousy has no cure. What do you have to say concerning it? Because that is serious. That's a serious situation right here. It's innate. How does anybody at all, whether you're a man or woman, how do they overcome these aspects in their life? Because even if the pastor that counseled him and everything, even if he doesn't, beat on her, mentally, he could also be torturing her as well, and emotionally as well, because he has to find a way to latch out his frustration in that aspect. How do we handle, how do you overcome jealousy?
She's just coming in. Let's hear her.
Okay.
Okay. I think in many of these cases, it's more of a societal thing. We found ourselves unwittingly in a situation where there was violence. So violence as a means of addressing issues has come to be accepted in the society. So you see a lot of young because maybe their fathers never beat on their fathers. They've seen it as an acceptable means of emptying themselves. So they use it, they practice it, and there are no consequences. So they carry on. In Osinachi's case, I think he has a deep-seated mental problem that was not attended. And we tend to look at people like that and, oh, he's a really bad person, or his father beat his mother. We rarely subject people like that to psychoanalysis to let them know they have historic matters, because many and they really don't know what they're doing. So when they have killed somebody, then we start talking about it's too late. Then it's too late. So I think there was a governor in Lagos State, Governor Fashola, who said anybody that drives one way will be subjected to a psychoanalysis. I think we should start. Anybody that drives should be subjected to psychoanalysis, because a sane person
shouldn't be beating their wives. Okay. Well, that's a good point. Mrs. Adesoji?
Yeah. Thank you, Ma. I think I subscribe to what she just said. However, if the woman doesn't open up, there's no way we will know. There's no way people would have look at us. Look at this case now. People didn't get to know about it until she died, and unfortunately, children were there. They were watching. The what's it called? The sister, the twin sister, got to know about it. She didn't say anything about it, unfortunately, because she kept begging.
Yes.
But for our ladies out there, After once or twice, you shouldn't even subject yourself to such. You should not get to a point where you allow a man to beat you. You have the Bible says
So true.
flee. You can run away. You can leave the place. You can separate meanwhile to know
At
what the
that point.
situations will be like. And then you come back together
That's
again
right.
and continue your lives together if it is necessary.
Hmm.
Because she
That's
might be
right.
thinking of the children. Oh, what will happen to the children? Okay, now that she's gone, what about the children? What about the children now?
That's true.
So we must
What
know
about the
as
children?
ladies out there.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. As
but
ladies
I
out
still
there,
want these
if
aspects. I still want these aspects, addressed. The emotional aspect of things. I'm talking about now. Someone might have it all, but still have a complex. And when there is complex, that could create a lot of problems as well. With this man, this lady's husband, for example, I mean, you can see that he was jealous. He was jealous of her. So, I'm asking this because it's very important for a boy child. How do you start inculcating confidence? How do you start building the child up so the child knows, even if you think, because one thing, this is my philosophy of life. Let me tell you my philosophy of life. In these aspects, there will always be more beautiful people, more intelligent people, more everything people, wealthy, there will always be that. But if you are not self-secure, if you're the type, that is easily aggravated by someone else's, success, the tendency is there for you to develop hatred. The tendency, and if your husband or a spouse, as the case may be, the tendency is there for you to become mean and terrible towards that person, and that can result to death, which is what we have also experienced as well. So for a boy child, what do we need to do with that child so that the child knows that, hey, this life, I mean, you would always have them, but nevertheless, you are enough. You are enough.
okay.
Never mind me, my this thing keeps dropping, and I'm keep looking for it, and so on.
For our
So I'm not
children,
even hearing you, but I'm sure our audience can. So that's good enough.
for our children, there's need for parents to let them know that they are
Can you just
valued
place
the
it
way
on
they
high?
are. I've done that. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, very well.
Yes. Our children should be made to know that they are valued the way they are. Maybe they are taking last, they are still our children, even though they are taking last or not. They are valued. And they should see themselves as such and begin to train them that you can be your best. You can, be number one. But now that you are like this, look at yourself. Check yourself up. Where can you improve on? How can you make yourself better without getting jealous of another person? Because I think sibling rivalry will always be there. However,
You will
when
always be there.
parents
That's true.
also do not, if they do not, begin to segregate and begin to love one child
Compare.
above the other, the children will learn
Compare.
eventually to be what they are expected to be. Because every child has a
Okay.
destiny. You may be a doctor, you may
Every time
be,
child is
be an artist, or whatever. Every child has
you be
what God has, what God's destiny is for every one of them, and they should realize
That's
that
right.
it doesn't matter what you are doing. I can be good in my own area of life, and if this one is
Okay.
incorporated into the children, they will be secured in themselves.
Okay. Shouldn't they, people learn how to share? So, and I'm saying this about me now. What gives me kick is someone else's joy, success, and what have you. As a matter of fact, when you're doing very well around me, it gives me so much. I mean, I'm just lighted immediately, And
Yeah.
all my life, I've devoted, all in helping others, find their place and become who God has ordained for them to be on earth. So I love that. And sometimes, I sit back and I'm thinking, how best can we train our children as parents? To let them know, because one way or the other, these values must have been passed on to me too, even though it might be in it, but somehow it must have been passed on to me, on the need to learn to celebrate other people's success, victories, and what have you, rather than thinking that it has to be me, the mean syndrome, overcoming that mean syndrome. Someone was sharing with me, or about how you can easily find out how children's psyche work. And then and the person was saying, when you have a child who finds it difficult to share little thing, okay, maybe someone gives the child money, and then the child just decides to keep the money in such a way that nothing goes there. Or then you have a child that is giving money, and the next thing is that that child is looking for the mom to say, "Mom, hold it." And then you still have a child who will later come back and say, "Mommy, where is that money that I kept with you?" And but then you have a child that will say, "Mommy, just hold the money, and when we need to do Christmas, use part of it to do it, okay?" So you have them like that. And then when you start exhibiting that as a mother, how do we help the one that seems to be lacking in this aspect of sharing and caring for somebody else?
Yeah.
This is key. Who wants to jump in? You can.
Yeah, yes. So you're right. Children are very different. They somehow innately, God gave every one of them a different personality. But the thing is that when basic values are inculcated into them, like we spoke about values, being responsibility, being responsible for the next person in the family, knowing that mom and dad, they work hard, they're struggling.
James Joy should be somebody else's joy.
Yes, so he might even think, oh, that is 1,000 naira or 2,000 that uncle gave to him will really, really, mom and dad along. And mom and dad can be so appreciative. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If not for this 1,000 naira that you gave me, So we really need to make we need to downplay their bad sides when they do what, a child holds back. We need to downplay it. But when such a child makes an effort and does something good, we need to exaggerate it and make it look like, oh, such a big thing, so that he will be encouraged to do it next time. Be surprised that it will become part of that child.
Okay. Yeah, if I may come in again.
Okay, please go ahead.
We should also allow our children to celebrate each other. If a child has done well in the family, for instance, maybe in the examination, maybe in a sports activity or whatever, we should come back to the family and applaud the child, maybe open a bottle of wine and say, we are celebrating Junior today, we are celebrating Jane today,
for doing very well. Good.
And everybody should flow. So if you notice that one of them isn't flowing and is not happy about it, then that becomes, a point
that becomes a problem.
We have to start teaching the person. Yeah, it's a challenge.
Yes.
And if the child continues like that and grows up to be like that, it's going to be a problem to the spouse and to the community. So
it's going to be, and to everyone as well.
Children to celebrate each other in the family, celebrate, even as parents, discover that there are so many things we say before our children and we are not doing well. Somebody just maybe back the degree, or somebody just bought a car, and we come back to the family and we start saying all manner of things about the person. You are teaching the children
negative things.
Yeah. And if somebody has succeeded in life, come back and say, wow, do you know Mr. So did this and it was just beautiful, he just got promoted, the child is this and that. We should rejoice. The Bible says rejoice, we also rejoice. So if you let us
Rejoice with those who rejoice. You've made the point.
Yeah, it won't be much of a
You've
problem.
made the point.
Yeah, it won't be a problem.
Yes, that's the truth.
For these children,
It won't be a problem.
To also rejoice.
And then, of
with
course, to
others.
tell them,
We should be
say,
able to
you
have
are
this
enough.
atmosphere in our family.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So now let us digress a little, although still within the topic of today. What is abuse in marriage? Can we look at that? Because sometimes, people think that it is only physical abuse, which is terrible, obviously, but then there are other types as well.
Yeah.
Can we have Mrs. Tari answering that?
So there are different forms of abuse, and both men and women are prone to them. So some would say that women are more prone to verbal abuse. It's women that go off their spouse,
That's true.
saying
Yes.
things are not nice to their spouse.
Okay.
Men, some spouses, some men say that's even worse. Physical abuse. It's not worse, it's bad. And it can create an atmosphere that can now engender physical abuse and other forms of abuse. There's emotional
Okay.
abuse, and then there's the physical abuse. Um, Emotional abuse can come in so many forms. Where it's difficult to detect is because you can't see it, you can't hear it, like verbal or physical abuse. So you just kind of get the feeling that something is going on between the husband and the wife, but you don't see anything, so you can't complain about it. You definitely can't prosecute, and that's why we tend to focus on the one that we can actually see, which is the physical abuse.
Okay. I see.
If I may
Okay.
add, you have a situation where one of the past spouses becomes so controlling.
Sorry, just a moment. Mrs. Morarike Tai, I don't know. You've gone sideways, and I wouldn't know why. Perhaps maybe you need to touch something on your screen. Please go ahead.
Yeah, that you discover that some men can be so controlling that the wife can't even breathe. Somebody is making a call, you're listening. Who is that? Who is that? You want to see? Another. Even some women still do that. This is a form of abuse because she has a life to live, they have their lives to live, and relationship is built on trust. In a situation where you can't trust me as your wife, I mean, there's a challenge. There's a challenge. So there's need for every man to know that, okay, this woman has left every other person. And she has chosen to change her name. She is my own now for life and all those. That is, I think that's enough for the man to be able to respect the woman. That, oh, this woman that so much loved me and has left everything, including parents and siblings, to be with me, I should give her a window of at least being able to say, okay, this
having
woman
a sense of belonging.
Sense of belonging. And a man should be able to know that if a woman wants to be naughty and all this, it's not impossible. But then don't police your wife. Don't police your wife. It's not necessary. There are some men who torture their wives. Who is that man? You are just seeing a man with your wife, maybe colleague, maybe maybe he helped her to come to the house from the place of work, and you want to know everything about the man. Who is that man? Who is it to you? And all those stuff. That's a form of unnecessary control over your wife. If she didn't trust you, I think she won't even come at all in the first place to marry you. I know there are some women who are into something, but a good number of women are saints. They don't go into all this. So a woman shouldn't be controlled as if they are robots.
They are robots. Okay. Also, now, there's an aspect of silence, silence treatment. Okay. Could that also be seen as a mental abuse?
It is. For instance, somebody is just talking to you and you pretend as if you can't even hear what the person is saying. You are like a deaf person to the person, maybe as a wife or as a woman or as a husband.
Yes.
You are just there. You don't care how the woman feels. You don't care how your husband feels. Somebody is talking, bringing a point, and it's like, please, excuse me. I don't have this time. I don't have that time. I don't have time now. And you don't always have time. Maybe somebody is bringing a point that I think we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. You are
Yeah.
not there for the person to discuss with you. That's part of abuse. There are some other people,
It's part of
men that
abuse.
have seen, they shout
What
down
about
their,
malice?
their
I don't understand how husband and wife will be keeping malice.
yeah, so it's the same
Some can
opposite
go on
sex,
for
and
years.
they're not talking to each other. There are some men that will not eat
I
their wife's food. There are some husbands
mean,
who will not eat
yes.
their wife's food. There are some wives that will not even cook food for their husbands.
Allow the
And they are
man.
still together. They are still together. So these are all little
That's
little
that's that's
ways
a
of
mental
showing that
abuse.
there is a challenge and there is need for us to look for solution. Somebody said that why are they doing
Yeah.
well as lawyers? Why are these people doing well as medical doctors? Why are they doing well as teachers? Because they give time for them to learn about all this. 7 years,
About
5 years, 4 years. But you just enter marriage, and the day you enter into marriage, you are given a certificate.
that's right.
So you discover
That's right.
that you don't, most of the time they don't even care about listening to maybe a video about marriage talk. They don't, if they even organize in church, like I said, we should try to organize. Some don't even come because they feel they don't need it. And the Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. If you don't know how marriage
That's
works,
right.
you will abuse your spouse. So there's need for everyone to know how marriage works. And this has got to do with teaching.
Okay.
If you invest your time into marriage, you will harvest good things in
Okay.
marriage. But if you don't have time to invest into it, to listen, to read books,
To
to
listen.
listen to counselors and all those, you're going to mess up your relationship because you won't just
Your
get the
home.
knowledge.
Marriage is work,
It
isn't
won't
it?
drop on you. Yeah, it is. So
That's the
you
truth.
can't, knowledge won't drop on
Yes, it
you.
is.
You must on your own go.
It won't.
And marriage is hard work. A good marriage is hard work.
Mar-
You must have sown
so
into
true.
it before you
So
begin
true.
to reap. So if
To
you
reap
don't
so it.
sow, you
That's the
don't
truth.
have you don't have time to make it to work. It won't work. It is not
Yes.
the workout that works. If you don't work at it, it won't work.
That's right. It won't work. Well, if you don't work at it, it won't work. So, what are the warning signs of an abusive relationship? It's like marriage.
And when the man begins to shout down somebody or even a woman, I heard a story of a lady that got married, and the very first night she slapped the husband. The very first
Oh
night.
my God.
Oh, very
Very
first
barbaric.
night, she gave a dirty slap to the husband. As we are talking now, they are
Oh
divorced.
my.
That was the beginning of the
Oh
problem.
no.
Oh yeah. So one of such is when you
That's
are
a terrible one.
overbearing. Yeah, it was. If you become overbearing and you can't even listen, you don't want to communicate, you don't want discussion, you don't want your spouse to tell you that,
Communication.
yeah, sit down,
Quietly.
please, let's have a talk. There are so many husbands and wives families that in fact, some tenants are better than they are because some tenants talk together, they relate together. But some just feel that marriage is just okay. Let me just marry as an adult. They don't know what it takes to get married.
That's right.
They don't know what it takes to,
That's true.
stay in marriage. They spent all their time preparing for wedding. They have wedded now. Make the marriage work is not working. Therefore, when you begin
It's
to
not
hear
working.
abusive words, you begin to hear some words that are not supposed to be from a man or a woman, you know that that's some of the signs of abuse in marriage.
In marriage. Okay. What does abuse do to a woman, for example? What does it do to a woman?
There are so many things. It can get the woman depressed. In fact, some have even run mad. They've gone insane because of abuse. So you must not remain in an abusive relationship because you cannot tell, what is going to be the outcome in the long run. You may not be sure what will happen to you. So there's need for every woman. If you see some of these signs of abuse, shouting down and raising hand to beat you, getting a cane and all those stuff, no. You must look for solution. You must look for a way out. We are not. I'm not
A
an
woman
advocate
can
of
easily lose her self-worth as well. A
yeah,
woman
that's
can easily lose her self-worth.
yeah,
She can lose
self-esteem,
confidence in herself.
confidence.
Self-esteem. Exactly.
Yeah, a woman can
Because
as well.
actually I ran into a lady in Lagos, and this was a bright, very intelligent young lady. But after she got married, when I saw her with her husband, she was so timid. She couldn't communicate the way she would normally do. And then later on, when I sent for her and we sat down to talk, he said, Mama, he took everything out of me. So that's another aspect to this as well, you lose everything.
I
That's
don't
true.
think it is
Okay, so what
worth
are
it
the
to lose
emotional and
everything.
psychological effects? Yes. Let me just
Does
quickly
this
jump,
answer
because
what
this question is also very related. What are the emotional and psychological effects of the abuse on the abuser?
the abuser?
Because an abuse continues when someone is allowing it, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
A bully,
Then you become emboldened.
to bully because he
Yeah,
is seen a prey.
yeah, that's it. That's it. Somebody will not even say anything. Yes, I've been able to overpower this one. And it seems as if they are in context over what I don't know. So the man can become so strong and ensure
It
that,
might be so.
yeah, I don't know. I don't see that he's lashing out on the woman and for what reason?
Well, we can go on and on. Time is really fast spent. But in a little while, we'll take a break. And then when we're back, it's for us to actually address, um, some questions from social media. I'm listening to my producer. We can actually address some questions from social media. So in a little while, we'll be back with that. And then you don't want to go away with just one solution. I mean, with us having this dialogue, I'm sure quite a number of people are already getting, a feeler on what to do if should they be faced with a situation like this, so that we do not have a repeat of this young lady or song that we lost. All right, back in a moment. Mama Helen and you. And then, of course, woo! Guess what? Maybe Prosper. Give it to us now.
Very much for this great opportunity. As I lay me down, heaven hear me now. I'm lost without a cause, after giving it my own. Winter storms have come and darkened my soul. After all that I've been through, oh, what can I turn to? I look to you, I look to you. After all my strength is gone, with you I can be strong. I look to you, I look to you, yeah. And when melodies are gone, with you I hear a song. I look to you. About to lose my breath, There's no more fighting left, sinking to rise no more, searching for that open door. With every road that I'm taking led to my regret, but I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Nothing to do but lift my head. I look to you. I look to you. Hey. And when all my strength is gone, with you I can be strong. I look to you. I look to you. Hey. And when melodies are gone, with you I hear a song. I look to you. Lord, I look to you. And when all my strength is gone, with you I can be strong. I look to you. I look to you. And when melodies are gone, with you I hear a song. I look to you. I look to you.
Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here, touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive. Oh yeah, Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here, touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive.
Now welcome back. This is still Mama Helen and you all the way from Warri, Nigeria. I hope you have been blessed already. I mean, even I have. It's been very informational and educational. And then, of course, our guests have been incredible as well. Now, we're going to be looking at some questions, from social media handle. And I would want our guests to kindly help in preparing solutions to them. Now, the first question is from Udeme from Calabar, and he or she says, "Well done, man. I have hurt my partner and children with my words and actions. How can I make amends?" Who wants to jump in? Okay, we're not hearing her, so maybe it would be nice if we can have Mrs. Adesoji.
All right, it's okay because we thank God that this one has come to his own sense to realize that he has sought the wife and the children so much, and to err is human, to forgive is divine. All he needs to do
It's
is to
divine.
come back to his senses and tell them that
I am sorry.
he's sorry. I mean, apologize to them and tell them that
Yeah.
he's turning a new leaf. As from today, I'm going to be a changed man. They may look at him and say, are you? When did I start? Say, it's starting now. I want to start being a good
Now,
father.
beautiful.
I want to be a good husband. And we're going to enjoy our lives together from now henceforth. So you can start now.
That is awesome. I think you've given a beautiful answer to that. I mean, there is nothing wrong in who says sorry. In fact, I've always said it that it takes maturity, for you to say you're sorry. because in the environment where we live in, people believe that, oh, that shows a sign of a weakness, but
Yeah.
it isn't a sign of
Equal.
weakness. It
Yeah.
simply means that, yes, that you're very mature enough
Yeah.
to
One
being
person.
able to
Yeah.
say sorry. So just as you've been told, Udeme, just simply call your wife and children. Start with your wife first and let her know that you're sorry, and things will now change from henceforth. And once your children can see the way you now start relating, with their mom, because the best way to show your children you love them is when you see very much in love with their mother. It's extremely important, we've been told. Okay, Ufoma Calypso Ugeli. I am suffering from mental, sexual, social, and health problems because of violence. Please help me. Ufoma. Oh my God. This is terrible. Sexual, social, and health problems because of violence. Please help me. Ufoma, we're not just going to provide solutions to this online. One of our people will try reaching out to you so that we can further help. Because from all education, you really need help, and then we need to go deeper to what might be responsible to the violence condition you are in, and if there's anything we can do, you can be rest assured that we will do it. Okay, it is well. But I want any of our counselors to kindly take that up. How else can we help Ufoma? She suffers sexual abuse, social abuse, and health problems. Because we already know, I mean, if you're having a mental, emotional torture, the tendency is that to migrate into health challenge. Okay, so
Yeah. Sure.
what do we do?
Ifoma, can you hear me now?
Ufoma, yes, we
Yes.
can
You
hear
can.
you.
Okay, Ifoma, you have taken the first step, which is to admit your problems to yourself, and then you have the courage to come and talk about it.
So come on.
It has taken great
That's right.
courage, and that's half
Yeah.
of the problem solved, as they say.
That's right.
So now the next step is we don't know the cause of the abuse, we don't know the source. It might be from a
No,
close
she just told
person or a
us.
close family.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right then. Yeah.
Yes, but you must forgive the person. You must find it in your heart to forgive the
Yes.
person.
Okay.
And um, yes, after this, we will need further counseling and
Okay,
assistance.
forgiveness. Forgiveness is key, isn't it? What would be other things that we need to let her know? Because obviously our self world is derailed right now. She doesn't even see anything good about herself because we're looking at mental, condition here. As perhaps maybe she was even raped. Because she also mentioned sexual as well. So
Yeah.
how does she get
Like
herself back?
like Morenike said, I think there's need for you, like you said, we need to get in touch with her so that we know what
Yeah.
kind of relationship she has found herself or she has brought herself into. There are so many ladies
Into.
out there who are not properly married to the men they are staying with, and those men see them as just mere things. And she does not
That's right.
have self-esteem, she doesn't have value for her life, and that's why she can come and camp with me without bride price, without anything.
Okay.
So there's need for us to know what kind of relationship she's into. Is she properly married? If
Okay.
she's properly married, then we will know what to do. Maybe we need to bring in the pastor if she goes to church, and
That's right.
we need to also know what the issues are. How did she
What
get
the
into
issues are?
that?
Yes.
How did she
Yes.
get into
How did
that?
she get
Because a
here?
man will,
How did she
yeah,
get here?
a man will not just start honestly speaking, beating and all this. But if it is out of ignorance of the man or wickedness or something, she may have to do something fast before something goes wrong with her.
Okay.
But we need to
Goes
know
wrong
what
with
the
her. Okay.
situation, what the
Yeah.
condition really
What
was.
the situation is? Okay. Ufoma, don't give up. Help is on the way, and we'll definitely get back to you. Okay. After Jack Bat, my body became darker. I have strands of birds under my chin and mustache. I've seen a doctor for 6 months now. No rebalance. My husband has become violent. He wouldn't touch me and tells me I irritate him. I threatened to leave. He said I can't, but not with his children. Help me, ma. A heartbroken lady from Lagos. This is very pathetic, isn't it? She has a child. After having a child, as it is, some things came up, and now the man is very irritated and doesn't even want anything to do with her. He wouldn't even mind if she leaves. How do we arrest this situation?
It's a really tough one.
Okay.
It happens a lot with ladies. And what I try to tell men, maybe my colleagues or men who maybe family friends, is that men change also. Men also change. They
so true. Men also change.
They get bald. Yeah. They grow bare bellies and all
Some
of that.
and then pot belly. Yes.
But the society has taught us that it doesn't matter. And in this case, it has become very, very extreme. I would advise you to be patient. I would advise you to look for periods when he's in a better mood to talk about it. Let him understand that he really, really hurt you by his words, his actions, and that you are the same person. Let him understand you're the same person that he married, and that the child, you are the one who made the sacrifice for the child, for
to carry that child for 9 months.
To carry that child. And he ought to appreciate you, because one day that child will grow up, he will have the time to look after you. So it's not, marriage is not a 1 year thing, it's not a 5 year thing. If it's a forever thing,
it's forever.
Then he should look at the big picture.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. What about you, Mrs. Adesoji? What do you have to say concerning this?
Sometimes, Mrs. Adesoji, that sometimes it's actually difficult to handle some issues like this, because there's need for us to know what happened. How did she get to this point of her life? Has the man been complaining before about one thing or the other? Has she made efforts to make a difference, to make a change? Are there issues that are getting the man offended? Has she looked inward? Because when we are giving a report of something, most of the time we don't talk about our own wrong. We talk about the other person's wrong. But if you can look inward, you should be able to know where you actually missed it. Because we don't get married because we hate each other. We're married because we love each other. So if the love now begins to get sour, at which point did it start? What caused it? We should be able to address that. If you're able to look back at a retrospect, when did it start really? Then you may be able to get to, if you're able to get to heart of something, you may begin to make necessary adjustments from there. But the issue with us is that we always want to opt out. Any little problem like this, we want to opt out. No, marriage isn't like that. Like we said initially, marriage actually is hard work. If you're properly married, you must ensure that you make it work, because the Bible says every wise woman builds her own home, and every foolish one pulls it down with her own hand. So what have you done? What brought you to the situation where you found yourself? How can you go back? And if you're not looking inward and you realize that maybe the mother is against you, or the sister or friend to something, you still need to talk to somebody about it.
Okay, awesome. Well, let me quickly say this, because this has to do with physical appearance now, and then the need for us something about it.
I didn't quite hear
is
that.
a physical aspect. Yeah, no, I know. It's a physical appearance. And I will just quickly say, because we have so many questions, I'll just quickly say to you,
Oh,
okay, go see a doctor, all right? Whatever the bear and all that, those things can easily be handled, all right? It can
so if
easily
it's
be
physical,
handled. Let's see how you can keep yourself fit. You know, men are
yeah,
sight stimulated. You know, masters, I understand the fact that, biology sets in at a point, but nevertheless, you also need to keep yourself, beautiful and, look at wonderfully so that your husband too can maintain that attraction towards you.
if
It's
I may
important.
come in,
So
I have a link.
yeah.
If I may come in, I have a link where you exercise yourself every day. I'll send it to your media person.
Oh,
She can share it with us.
fantastic.
Every day you exercise
Uh-huh.
yourself, you eat right, you
Yeah.
dress well.
You eat right,
Because
you look
our men
good.
are still
Who
in
says you must look at you look like a 60-year-old when you are just what?
when you're 20 or 25. So you must get yourself ready for a woman.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's true. It's true. Okay. I think there's another question here. God bless you, Mama Helen. As men, we are seen as weak when we speak out. My wife eats me, ma. Jehovah. The last time she did, I had to run out of the house half naked with her 3 months old baby. Who does that? She was eating me with her baby in my hand. People tell me to hit her back or report to the authorities, but I can't because become a master like her. Father, like her father rather, I am fed up. Gray from California. So we also have some women who can be very abusive as well. That's what we're
Yeah,
told here.
yeah, because they can't
We're not
control
talking about
their
someone
emotions.
in lying about it, but in the real sense of it.
So it's far more common than with if you look at the statistics, you will be shocked. There are so many women who hit their husbands, threaten their husbands. And there was even a case
Very
recently
bad.
of another domestic abuse case, a woman in Lagos who
Abusive.
killed her husband. I don't know if you heard about it. And it happens
Terrible.
very often. And unfortunately, we only get to hear about it when the man, it is just
Is
as
dead
important as male on
from
female.
affected. Okay.
It should be reported
It is as
immediately.
important. Yes. Well,
Immediately. And
if your wife is battering you, then you need to do something very quickly about it because that is
Yeah,
not good as well. Just like we know that a man battering a woman is not good, it's the same effect as well. I mean, to even think that you're carrying a child and
yeah,
the woman is still latching out on you is very bad. So I think you need to possibly maybe get your family members involved, or better still, look for a counselor, who
yeah,
can
better.
speak with both of you. There might be something also that is leading to that, you know. There might be something that is leading to that. So that needs to be addressed. What could she be going through inward that will make her behave in such a barbaric manner? Now, someone once sent me a question, and I want you to answer this because it's very important. There's what is called reverse psychology and gaslighting. If a spouse is the one doing a particular thing to another, and yet is the one screaming that that thing is being done to him or her, what do you do?
that
Mrs.
situation sounds
Titilayo
to me like
Adesoji?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
this
Okay.
is quite, this quite unfortunate, and it happens like that so that the person can have other people's sympathy. But we should know that
It
eventually,
comes out of,
people will
yes.
get,
Yes.
yeah, people will get to know
To know the truth.
that they will get to know the truth. So whatever you're doing and you think that nobody knows about it, one way or the other, people will get to know. Don't you have a child? Are children out there? They're not watching what you're doing. Your children
The
are there and
children
they are
sees all
judged.
things, everything.
They see what we
So
do
true.
and they know who is wrong.
Yes.
Yes. Maybe it's the father or the
Yes.
mother.
That's the truth.
And these children
That's the truth.
eventually, you're not helping them because they may develop a threat for such a person that this woman is a wicked woman or this man is wicked. We shouldn't even allow our children to
Yes.
get into such a situation, for God's sake. We should
So
try
true.
as much as
So true.
possible to ensure that children in a good atmosphere in the family is important, please.
That you've answered that
Yeah, if
question.
I, if I may
That's
add to
beautiful. And
that,
then of
it
course,
sounds
okay. Go ahead, please.
it sounds like a situation where there is an inordinate amount of competition in the family. The husband and the wife are one. They are not supposed
They are
to be
one.
competing.
Exactly.
It's not about
That's true.
politics. It's not about, oh, I want the children to like me and not their father. It doesn't make sense, or vice versa. So they should desist from it. If the other party, it's unfortunate, but they should desist from it
They should desist
and know
from
that
it.
they
It's
are
not a good
one
thing.
family. When there's unity, it's
Yes.
best for everybody.
So true. Because if it's just only one party talking and then gaslighting or doing a reverse psychology, at the end of the day, he's still going to hurt everybody in the family. No matter how much of sympathy you try to drive out there. So stop it. It's not good. Okay. Femestastic from Cameroon. I hope I was able to pronounce that name very well because it looks very much like my name. Good day, man. My husband doesn't hit me, but he tortures me emotionally. I am losing it. How can I protect my heart? Okay, let's take it from Mrs. Adesoji. Okay, is Mrs. Adesoji hearing me? It's Mrs. Adesoji. Okay, or otherwise, maybe Mrs. Tare can take that up then.
You cannot protect your heart, but you can protect your marriage. Like we keep saying, marriage
How
is
can
not
I
easy.
protect my heart?
It's a relationship between two matured people. Marriage is not a
Yes.
relation. It's not about me, and it's not about you. It's not about you, or it's about your husband.
Yes.
When it's like business, you know, when two business entities come together, they want to execute maybe a
Yes.
project. They have to form a separate instrument to be able to properly execute that business. So marriage is a bit like that. Yes, there's no marriage in heaven, um, like the Holy Book says, and all that. But you need to work out your salvation. Your spouse needs to work out their salvation. But your salvation is so dependent on your spouse or what they do, and vice versa. So you cannot be thinking of it in terms of protecting your heart. I know that's very difficult to take in, but marriage is between two matured people who are looking out for each other, not for themselves, not for me,
That's right.
first and foremost. This, of course, doesn't apply when it comes to physical violence. In that case, you don't have to do it.
And all that.
But
But
in
has
the
has here, if I
emotional,
may, if I may come in because of time, so femestastic from Cameroon, don't internalize it, okay? In addition to what you have just heard, don't internalize what you keep hearing. You know, if you keep allowing him to continue to torture you emotionally, then it will definitely have a great effect on your heart. But if you start dealing with it outside of whatever it is, at the end of the day, it will not have any effect on you. And that's very essential, because if you're not careful, before you know it, your health will be affected as well. So if it calls you a fool, you're not a fool. If you say something has gone cuckoo, you or whatever, you're not that. Okay? So have a self reassurance, and that comes through Christ Jesus. Okay? That's extremely important. Don't internalize, don't take in whatever is happening outside, so that you can still and maintain your emotional and mental states without anything affecting you. Because you have abusers out there, whether in friendship or marriage or anything at all. People sometimes can be mean, but you must never internalize it, in your best interest. It's very important. Oh my God. Now, I want to ask this question. There are so many questions from that social media platform, but we have to draw a curtain to this program. But before I do that, permit me to ask this question from her counselors. And it is to say, what can our government do in preventing abuse against women? What can our government do in preventing abuse against, women?
Well, abuse against women cannot be prevented. It is a global issue, and even in countries where so much is being done, there's still abuse against women. It can, however, be cut to the barest minimum. And I think one of the most important ways to do it is to make sure that there's consequence. I have followed, in the line of my work, I have followed so many, wife murder cases, just like Osinachi's done. I have followed them to the end. And you are just never satisfied with the resolution. You just don't feel that
at the end of the day,
the perpetrator was punished at the end of the day. When they are jailed, they are jailed for a couple of years, they are released. It should not happen like that. Then when we talk about, why don't women leave abusive situations and all that?
so
Most
there should
people
be a
think
policy change.
the
Should
laws
there be
are
a
there.
policy change?
They have to be enforced.
Do we need to tweak it? Okay.
I think so. We are signatory to international conventions, and in 19 states of the Federation, the laws against domestic violence have been domesticated. So we don't need any new laws. What we need is the law to ensure that these laws are
we need to
properly
enforce the law.
used. Yes, they need to be enforced.
Okay.
They
need to be enforced.
all the talking we're doing we can take it a notch higher in trying to help to enforce.
Okay.
A lot of people are afraid to come out and be witness.
Okay. That's good. Okay. Well, it's been it's okay. It's actually really been a long one today, and a wonderful one for that matter. I have enjoyed it. I hope we've all learned one thing or the other from our counselors. So let me start by appreciating Mrs. Margaret Isilayo Adesoji. Thank you so very much for taking our time to be with us today. I know someone out there must have been blessed. And then, of course, Mrs. Murenike Tare. Thank you very much indeed for being with us today, and of course sharing your thoughts with us. Now, I have a question in my heart, and this is very, very important. They say prevention is better than. How do you prevent women battering? All sorts of what you call different kinds of abuse against women, as it were.
Could you come again, please?
Yes. Okay. It is said that prevention is better than cure. So how do we prevent, women battering, or should I say, different types of abuse against women?
Like I've always advocated, people should be exposed to knowledge. When people have knowledge, what you don't know, actually, you will abuse it. And if you don't know what to do with your spouse, most likely you will turn them to a punching machine. So there's need for us
Machine,
to know
okay.
that this husband, that everybody must be open to knowledge. We must be ready to
To
change.
knowledge.
Marriage
You
is
must be ready
something
to
that,
change.
as you're together, you have to keep changing and keep learning. I've been married for 30 years, but we are still learning. You
Wonderful.
must keep learning
Amen.
every day.
You
Don't
must
get
keep
to a
learning.
point in your life that you
Amen.
think you know everything about marriage. It's a lie. In fact, you don't
That's
even know
right.
your husband
That's
stayed
right.
with the person for because you are still learning. You are still trying to know the man or trying to know the woman.
You see that?
Therefore, there's need for us
That's right.
to keep working at our marriages. You listen to teachings like this. You listen to YouTube mentors. You listen to people who have made it in marriage. Because these are the days too that people advocate divorce. Any little thing, carry your things and go. It won't work like that. If you marry another person, you're still going to experience all this. So there's need for you to sit down and begin to look inward. Because the only person you can change is you. You can't change your spouse. Maybe you got married to him
That's
or
true.
her at age 25 or 30. That mind's already formed. That woman is formed. You can't change them. The only person you can change is you. Begin to change your
It's
outlook
you.
of life. Begin to change your mentality. Begin to change how you behave, what you do. Like that person that the husband complained about the body now. Begin to find a way of changing yourself. Don't say, well, you're not the one that brought me to this one. Oh, no, don't say that. Your husband doesn't want it. And as much as possible, ensure that you begin to put yourself into right shape so that man can also be happy when he sees you. You won't look like his mother. He
Yes.
may not be happy about that.
Yeah.
So there's need for every one of
That's
us
true.
to, know what we should be doing. And this comes by teaching. It comes by
Yes.
attending seminars and all those. It also comes by making up your mind to make your marriage work. You must make up your mind to make your marriage work. However, when it gets too serious and you know that this may lead to your death,
Work.
you should to separate
Where?
uh,
Two
for,
months back.
for some
Okay.
time first. Yeah. And governments also have their own
Okay.
part to
All right.
play. Church has their part to play. These are the people that wed
That's right.
people. Government wed us,
Yes.
church weds us, traditional people, our families, they wed us. They have their own. They
That's true.
must be able to talk to their children that this is how it works. This is how it works. It doesn't work that way. And when you're married, you burn the bridge. If you know you're not going to divorce, then there must be a way around it.
Two
You
words.
must be able to
And
keep
we're
your
around.
head. You must be able to put in effort to ensure that your relationship works because it can work.
Works.
The first 7 years of marriage usually is turbulent. And if you're able to stay through these first 7 years, most likely you will stay through. So begin to learn, begin to adjust, begin to change your own self, and things will work out well.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you so very much. We've really, really enjoyed you, Mrs. Adesoji. It's been a pleasure having
Thank
you.
you.
What would you have to say, Mrs. Veronica Tarek, as a sign off?
Come again, please.
Prevention is better than cure. How do we, ensure that our
Prevent.
women are protected against abuse?
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, the government has
Just
a huge
in a short
role
word.
to play. Society has a huge role to play. It's not a domestic problem. Let me repeat that. It's not a domestic problem. It is a societal problem. If it was a domestic problem, we wouldn't be here talking about it. We would just leave it to them, the two
So,
involved. But because it's a
that's true.
societal problem, the solution has to be societal. We must be our brother's keepers. We must be willing to stand up for ourselves. And most importantly, government has to make sure that perpetrators are punished. If they are punished, the next person will be discouraged. Everybody that gets away with domestic violence in one way or the other, another person is encouraged to do it.
That's right.
That see, we can go on and on. A lot, I've actually been handled today, and I again, on behalf of everyone here, will simply want to say that hey, marriage is not a do or die. In other words, the covenant of life is greater than the covenant of marriage. But before you get into divorce, seek for help. The training of keeping quiet and not speaking out at the early stage is not the best. I used to be a strong advocate for just being quiet forever. But I'm beginning to see the importance of you speaking out on time before things get worse. So learn how to speak out on time and prevent, something of this nature. And the other aspect to this is need as well to concentrate on our boy child. It's become a burning issue on the need for mothers and fathers as well to now take our time really, really focusing on our boys. See how we can develop them from boyhood to manhood. And so that they will be able to represent society very well. And of course, they'll be able to enjoy marriage. And then, of course, the other aspect of this is also for our women to see how with their men as well. Because, it takes two to tango. Let's see how we can make things work for one another. In order for progression in marriage and then marriage to be joyful at the end of the day. Don't take on to engaging in destroying and ruining your spouse, because it's powerful. When you throw it out there, it's very difficult to bring back. Let's be mindful of that, of tomorrow. It's important. And then, of course, I would also want to say, children nowadays are often left off the hook, not really held accountable for their actions. And most of the time, a person's values are a reflection of the environment they grew up in. Let's have time to train not just the girl child, but also the boy child. It is our responsibility to provide moral education to our children as early as possible. There's no better time than today to mold them into reliable and responsible adults. If we want them to grow up to be productive members of society, we must teach them how. Say no to violence and to every other form of abuses as well. It is important. Love one another. Let's care for one another. Let's think about others. Let's have the heart of God. Well, it's been a wonder coming your way all the way from Warri, Nigeria, and of course, Mama Helen and you. Never stop watching it, and never stop watching Mama Helen and you. All my social media handles are on screen right now, so make sure to get in touch. We want to hear from you, and you can also call as well or send a text. We want to get to know what is happening in your home. And to the lady, that once reached out to us for help, we will definitely reach out to you, and then we will see how we can help resolve whatever those issues are by the special grace of God. Please cry out for help on time. Don't wait on things have really gone bad before you start seeking for help. It takes two to tango. Let's see how we can encourage peace amongst ourselves. The boy child must become a man that everyone can see that he has actually become a husband indeed. Likewise, a girl child as well. Mwah! Love you.
Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here, touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive.
all about the Word of God.
Welcome to another episode of Soul